Coming up on Relatables, the fundamentals of where trust comes from and how to work on them in a healthy manner. And it all comes back to just
Jake and Artie, the Relatables party. Relatables.
The Relatables podcast is hosted by myself, Jake Craig, a.k.a.
Daddy,
and my partner in crime, Audie Clark, a.k.a. Mummy.
the GOAT, a.k.a. the GOAT. The GOAT of the Relatables. The people,
Looks like a
the
goat.
people have chosen that, mate. We should do
I don't think I've heard any rumors about that at all.
Do you know how like all these companies do like vote for your favorite TikToker and vote for your favorite artist, and then they give you like 3 artists?
Vote for who you want to be president.
But then you got to pick.
That's tomorrow, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, or like technically today.
Yeah.
Because it's the 5th today.
I don't know if that one works in what I was about to say, but they say vote for the best one in Australia, and then you're given like 3 options, and you're like, my favorite TikToker's not even fucking there.
Actually, good point.
Yeah, I've always thought that. I was like, who creates this list? Is this like TikTok's favorites or?
Do you want to actually give them an insight as to how the TikTok awards work?
Oh,
You want to know? Because I remember learning about this.
I forgot.
So basically, like all the biggest, like I think like some of the biggest TikTokers in Australia, obviously I'm invited.
Yeah.
But you don't really get invited as an individual unless you are like next level. What happens is TikTok sends invites to all the agencies that have talent, and they don't really care how big the talent is.
No.
Because it's like they just send to the agency has a bunch of talent, and then like, you know, they obviously the individuals that are like the biggest, they'll probably send them a personal invite. I have no idea. But like that's how, because we went last year.
Yeah.
And the only reason we went is because we were about to sign, like, we were about to start a trial with like an agency company, like a management company.
Yeah.
And the only reason we got invited was because they got us an invite. Like
they
had to ask TikTok, like, can the boys come into TikTok? I think TikTok was kind of umming and ahhing, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. And then we went.
Yeah, well, it's not based on numbers, which is what it is portrayed as, which is weird.
Yeah, so it's really not. Yeah, so if you want to go vote for your favorite TikToker for the TikTok Awards.
I've always thought it's like a race. Whoever has the best time wins, but it's more like whoever ticks all the boxes wins.
Yeah, fair. And like, also, there's probably people that. So who won it? Who won it when we were there? That girl with the kids. Shit.
Yeah,
She's massive. She's huge. How do we not know where she comes
Chaos
from?
family.
Yeah, she's got the most chaotic family ever.
Yeah.
Her husband's like
Indy Clinton.
She won well to the awards we went to.
Yeah.
And like she currently, obviously, she's not nominated again. But if she was nominated again, she'd probably win again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So like they just don't nominate them twice.
Maybe that's the concept behind it. Is like you can't do it off who's the biggest because they'd win every year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people bigger that don't even know.
The reason we're saying this is because we think we should win.
There actually isn't. There isn't a podcast award.
Yeah, and you know what? That's funny about that is there's a lot of podcasts that are really big on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like there's this one called The Morning Shift who have like over 1 million followers. They had less than us, and they just went woof, way past us.
Yeah, there's
and then
heaps of podcasts. Like we got the chocolates. They have 1.3
we
mil.
got they're huge. All these are huge followings on for like podcasts. They should have a category.
Yeah, they
of, like
should be.
best TikTok podcast. Like,
We're getting hard done by.
please, TikTok.
Yeah.
See, like, because there's no category, that's why we're saying, no, we don't want to go. We don't want to go. And Australia is the only country that does TikTok awards. No other country does it.
Oh, I don't want to get into it. We have the TikTok awards, but then we don't pay our talent.
Yeah, we don't get the creative fund.
Yeah, weird. But
So all the TikTokers out there that are making TikToks,
Yeah.
like, and that's their like their revenue is they're not getting paid for it, unfortunately.
yeah.
That's why
the game's the game, mate.
a bunch of Australian TikTokers, they get massive on YouTube Shorts for that reason.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're always going to go because it's so much time spent into making this video.
It actually is.
Some people just don't realize that. But anyways, Jake, what I wanted to start the episode with, on the weekend, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary.
Congrats, man.
Insert cheers. Woo!
365 days around. Wait, yeah, 365 days around the
Sun.
No, one time around the sun. Fucking hell.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh, shit.
You stuffed me up.
One time around the sun with the missus.
Yeah. One.
Congrats.
Thanks, man. And beautiful. We went on a beautiful romantic getaway up to Newcastle, but we were having some really deep and interesting conversations. And I don't know how it came into the convo, but we ended up talking about a bit of a dangerous subject, but it came up in a nice, healthy way, like each other's exes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was learning a little bit about her previous relationships and how other guys acted and loved in a way. And it was quite interesting and insightful for a man hearing that, because as a guy, you never get to really see how other dudes love and how they act in relationships because it's behind closed walls. And I was hearing it from like the other partner's perspective.
Yep.
And I was hearing some stories, not saying that I'm better than them, even though I am, but I was hearing some wild stories and I was like, this is mind-boggling. And she was like gassing me up because I'm obviously her boyfriend, and she was telling me the things I do are good. And this isn't here to say I'm better than anyone else, but I was thinking like, this is like a really weird concept that like I sometimes forget, because me and Jake are like, I don't know, so exposed to the environments of dating that we forget that some dudes are, the best way to describe it is trash.
You said that.
I was trying to think of a nicer way to put it, but we have a lot of...
You said that so like...
Elegantly, yeah.
That's way to describe them as well.
And we have a lot of female listeners, but this segment, if you have any male friends who you think, a little bit on the edge of like, maybe they're not the best bloke, or they're doing something a bit, send this to them to get an insight of like, basically the bare minimum of dating, but...
We've done that before.
But this is more in like a useful, insightful way where you can actually implement it.
Yeah, I also think like these are easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So we're calling this, hey, man, here's a hack.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, man, here's a hack.
Yeah. So any guys who just joined from right now, hey, man, here's a hack. Don't buy her flowers because you did something wrong. Buy her flowers because you want to.
Facts, bro. Do it because you want to see her smile.
This is the one that made me come up with the idea. She was telling me, she's like, you buy me flowers because you want to and you want to see me happy. Whereas in her previous relationships, and I'm sure a lot of girls listening right now, I didn't realize guys do something wrong. And then they go, here you go. I bought this because I don't know, didn't message you all night last night. Here you go. Take this flowers. And I was like, people do. I'm like, that just sounds like a double-ended sword. It's not really doing anything good.
And also, it's a very common thing. Like, it's never happened to me. I don't think it's happened to me. Or you know, actually, no, I won't say that. But what I saw a video once, and this guy was he goes, I'm making this video because I was at the shops and I bought some flowers for my wife. And, because I wanted to. And the cashier was a man and was like, because he bought the flowers, he's like, oh, in the doghouse, are you? As if like he had done something bad in his buy. So it's like a really well-known thing that guys will just get flowers when they're in a bit of trouble.
That's one thing that I didn't put on my hacks. We both have 5 each is, hey man, here's a hack. Sort of talk to your friends and pull them up when they say something that isn't right.
Yeah, here's a hack. When your friends are having that like locker room chat, maybe just be like, not that funny.
Yeah, because my girlfriend was explaining like catcalling and like how girls feel and how she feels when people get catcalled. And she says she probably sees as the guys think it's harmless, but they don't realize the impact of making a girl feel unsafe. Yeah. But I was thinking about catcalls, and most of the time it's tradies for some reason. And it'll be like a couple tradies in a car, and 2 of them are instigating the catcalling, and then there's maybe one guy in the back who's like doesn't really agree with what they're saying or what they're doing.
Like, nah.
But I know it's easier said than done, but it's probably good to just take accountability and be like, hey man, that's kind of not cool.
I think that's something maybe that's good to preach is, so we need to start practicing what we preach. Because like when we were young, obviously we were scared to do it. And I don't think I would be scared to do it anymore. No. And like whenever I think one thing like to preach, obviously like you're not going to fix any sort of problem straight away, but if we could just start to talk about like 2, I'm not saying we're like the best examples ever, but just like be 2 guys that are 24, nearly 25, fucking like we're obviously through that teenage years, like and be people that talk about being like, the way that like, because you think about, okay, remember this? This was not even that long ago, and I think it's terrible. And I want to like call us out on it. I want to call friends out on it. Guys will look at a girl and be like, oh, she's like girlfriend material, sex material, like that type of shit when you're young.
Yeah.
And I think like
them in a
even in
category.
that situation, like if you're out with your friends and they're like, oh, like look at her, she's like beautiful, she's girlfriend material, and then someone else goes like, nah, like she just looks fuckable. That's when I think you should pop in and be like, no, whoa, let's just chill here.
Yeah.
It's and it's not going to be that awkward. And if they say to you like, oh, don't be a pussy, like just hold your ground and be like, no, I just don't. I think that's cool.
I think it's really important to realize that in men's eyes, it seems as harmless fun, but it really does have a big impact on said person and their gender as a whole. Because all those things are terrible. If it got back to the person.
If you imagine, my first one is, hey man, here's a hack. Treat a girl the way that you would want your sister or your mum to be treated.
Yeah.
Like, and so.
It's so simple.
Yeah. So like, if your friends are talking about a girl.
Yeah.
Then imagine they were talking about your sister.
Yeah.
That girl is probably someone's sister or definitely someone's daughter. Think about the way you want your daughter to be treated. I think that's what we need to start just at least changing our mindset on, is like when you hear someone that is talking like that, us included, like we if we hear a friend talking like, we just need to be like, no, like imagine if that was your daughter and someone else was talking about your daughter like that. What would you do?
Yeah, it's as simple, just like, not cool, man. Like think about how she would feel if you heard what you just said about her.
And they'll be like, oh, like, you're ruining the mood. And it's like, yeah, but why is this the mood? Like, why is this the mood? Like,
yeah, and it's being like, I'm 100% guilty of seeing things. I've probably done things in the past that I'm not proud of, but it's more so seeing things and not saying anything because I was too scared to voice what I believe. But I think now I'm getting older and more comfortable in my skin. I should be like, nah, dude, like,
I think it's,
don't do
becoming
that.
less scared of the awkward situations.
Yeah. And realizing like I'm being true to myself. And like what I believe in is really important for the outcome of like what I think the world should be like.
I know. It's
rather than just being like, oh no, I don't want to make this awkward.
Yeah, like do you think it's crazy to think like, you know, you could hear a friend back in the day when you were younger like talk about a girl, and then you might just be like, you'd let it brush it off. But like just imagine if they were talking about your girlfriend.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think just like changing the perspective. Like imagine if this was someone you knew on a deep level.
I'm even thinking like we bring it back all the time. Like it's obviously something hormonal going on in your brain, but growing up as like a teenage boy, like there's no education on not objectifying women.
Facts, bro.
Like,
and why do fucking teenagers have access to porn?
Yeah.
You can go on there and they say, are you 18? All you have to do is click yes and it believes you. Like,
yeah. Where like there's so many hormonal changes going in a guy's body, and it doesn't help that like we're heaps horny. And then we just see him as like, yeah, she's just fucking sex material, man.
Yeah. And the night prior, you were looking at fucking porn because your friends told you they started watching porn. So you're like, well, I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird,
It's unhealthy. And like, I don't, someone messaged us and said that Victoria is trying to educate better on sexual education and gender equalities. And
yeah, that's right.
It's stepping in the right way, but New South Wales, Queensland's all really far behind, and we're just learning about fucking Pythagoras theorem.
Shout out to Victoria. Someone said we listened to the episode. Like I'm a teacher from Victoria, and I will let you know that in sexual health education, they've changed it to like shit. We could go find it, but Victoria is talking about they're teaching young men.
It's changing the mindset, because I'm thinking back of when I was in school. It's just like that's just what boys do, but that's not right.
No, it shouldn't be.
Okay, so, hey man, here's a hack. Plan a date from start to finish, not figure it out on the day.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Fuck, I could not agree more.
These are, like you said, so simple.
So simple.
But so effective.
I think planning a date could take you 10 minutes.
It's so enjoyable. Honestly, it's so enjoyable. Like now you go on TikTok, you scroll on fucking TikTok looking at good places that you will even enjoy to eat, and then you go book it.
Next time you're taking a shit, instead of scrolling TikTok, just watching videos, scroll TikTok looking for restaurants.
Yeah, that's making it relatable for dudes. Yeah, if they spend so much time on the toilet.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly. And then think about a game you would like and go buy an Uno deck. Go buy a fucking little board game. Go buy Connect 4. Go do something. Just think outside the box a little bit.
Stupid.
Use your brain.
Hey, man, here's a hack. Actually give a shit about important dates like anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas. Valentine's Day is pretty fucking important to a girl.
The anniversary. Oh, the other day, I'm going to call one of our friends out, our audio fucking production technician man on Patreon. We asked him about it. Here's a good example where we should have called him out more. We sort of did.
We semi-did.
Yeah, we semi-did. We asked him about his anniversary, and we both said ours. We're not trying to say that we're better than anyone else, but he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm not going to, what did he say? I'm not going to... criminate myself.
Yeah, he said the month, and we were like, yeah, but what day?
Yeah, and
he
he's
was like, I'm not going to.
And we were like, you kind of just did, man.
That was incrimination.
And we should have went a little bit more, mate. You should know that's a very important day. It's the like the day you committed to this person.
100%.
Yeah, like those days are important. And
Very.
I don't know why, guys. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so like, I'm the other half of this relationship. I want to know. Like,
Yeah, you want to know these days. Yeah. Oh, it's your turn.
Hey, man, here's a hack. Relationships are work. Don't just stop when you've bagged a girl.
Ooh. Yeah, a lot of guys will act like a lot more than they are while like during the chase.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, once they've really...
As soon as I've got it, well, I've got her now. I don't need to fucking
once
work on
they've
myself.
secured...
Yeah, I could have sex with her, mate. What do you mean? That's what relationships are about.
Hey, man, here's a hack. Actually ask her to be your girlfriend.
Yeah. Not just like, yeah, you and me, we're fucking...
Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, so like, I've planned the day that we're getting married.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what are you gonna ask me first? What you gonna ask me first?
I think so many dudes need to hear that.
Yeah.
Those words, we've said it before. Will you be my girlfriend?
5 words.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, remember the show synopsis I did about Nobody Wants This?
Yeah.
Have you finished it yet?
No.
Oh, did you start it?
No.
Fuck.
Well, actually, no, I
Binge
don't
it.
want to say what I did.
Oh.
I started and then I had sex.
Okay, in that show.
That's fair.
In that show, they are 2 like older, like fully grown adults.
Yeah.
And you'd think that they'd be the type to be like, we're too mature to be like asking each other to be boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. But the guy, I'm going to spoil one thing for you. Hopefully you watch it. The guy at one point does go, will you please be my girlfriend? It was the best. And I was just like, oh, this is good. Like,
Healthy.
they're sending out a good message here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is. Okay. Hey, man, here's a hack. Message her when you're out, letting her know your movements because she loves you.
Because you love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
I never understood, like, oh, sorry, I wasn't on my phone.
So I don't like going on my phone while I'm out.
Yeah, it takes
Trying to live in the moment.
Yeah. Like, it takes fucking 15 seconds, not even just be like, hey, we're going to this bar now.
Hey.
We're going to
Yep.
Josh's house.
Yeah. Leaving bar, Josh's house.
That's all you
Yeah. That's all they want.
Yeah, I know. Just to know what's going on.
Hey, man, here's a hack. Try and fix the problems instead of cheating your way out of it.
Double down. Yeah, fucking hell.
I got one more.
I got one more too.
Hey, man, here's a hack. Remember, she has feelings.
Yeah. Oh, that one's deep.
I know.
I don't understand how some people do their actions. They think the person's not real or something. Or they don't have emotions.
Or they think they're not going to get caught.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, some people are wild. My last one. Hey, man, here's a hack. Make her feel like the most important girl in the world. Because that's what she is to you, right?
Couldn't agree more. As Rihanna said, I want you to make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. Like I'm the only one that you ever loved.
Honestly, just make her feel special. Like, what's the point of being in a relationship if you don't?
I know. It's so fucking... I think talking about it, like we talk about it a lot, which is
Yeah.
good. And I think all we have to do is keep talking about it. And eventually we'll get some more male listeners.
Yeah, send this to a man. Like, I
Yeah.
think we got like 1% more the other day. I was pretty happy about that. I think we're 89% female.
Woohoo! We got that 1% more. We're sending out the message.
Yeah,
let's go.
let's go.
Or even just like females listening. Obviously, we love you more. But like, I don't know, if you have a younger brother,
Yeah.
you don't have to tell him to listen to the pod. But yeah, just like, I don't know, if you've never heard... Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you tell your younger brother to be
the youth.
respectful.
Like, I think we do have some messages from some boys saying like, oh, it's so insightful and like good to hear you guys talking about girls. Like my friends don't do that and stuff like that. Like they don't have, I don't know, the exposure or a big brother, a good role model in their life to like, we're not perfect by any means. We say some things wrong, but like we try our best to make, I don't know, dating better and equal. Nice.
Yeah, I agree.
A nice world. I was going to keep talking. I was going to say, I was looking at confession sessions the other day.
Yeah?
We're organising them and there was so many like bad dates of all these dudes doing these trash. And I was like, fuck, I'm just not exposed to this. It's so bad.
Well, yeah, I've never really been on just like a bad date apart from thinking like, yeah, it just didn't go well.
It's because we go on with girls and most of the time we're normal, and then the girls are normal, and then but for the girls, like 90% of the dudes are just like rocking up drunk. They're rocking up smelly. They're rocking up.
Imagine rocking up drunk.
And I was like, well, I just don't get it.
I actually was on a date once. Okay, I haven't been on a million dates. Like but I was on a date once where it was just like, just went out for dinner at a restaurant.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
And the girl I was on a date with actually told me, she said like, oh, this is like, I don't even think we really labeled it as a date.
Didn't ask you out properly, mate.
I mean, like, but long story, but basically, because it wasn't labeled as a date, she was like, this is better than some of the dates I've been on that are actual dates. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, one time I went on a date with a guy and it was just like, he told me to meet him here and he was just with his mates playing soccer in the park and they got drunk and then we went out and just got some drinks.
Every girl has a story of a bad date, but every guy doesn't because girls like get it's a date. Weird.
Yeah, every girl has a story about a bad date, but guys don't. That's such a good point.
Because girls are like, they know it's a date and they put in like at least the minimal amount of effort.
Yeah.
Like they know it's a date. Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, let's move on. All right, Oddie, what I want to bring up next is, now, I think over the years, we can say years now, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah, over the years of the podcast.
We are experienced.
I think it has been portrayed that, and it's not super wrong, but I think it's been portrayed that, Oddie, you are more of a thinker, and I am more of a non-thinker.
Is that the word you're labeling as non-thinker?
Now, I don't get a racing mind often.
No.
But today, actually, something kind of weird happened to me, and I was like, you know what? This happens a bit. Maybe I do get a bit of a racing mind.
Oh,
okay.
What were you thinking about?
So I would like to just send you through the series of events that was going through my mind. So I was on my way to the gym.
Here we go.
And I was pulling out of my driveway. And across the road, there was a lady walking a little small blue staffy. Cutest dogs ever. And this blue staffy reminded me of a blue staffy of a mate of mine from school named Kale.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember blue staffy named Kale. And then Kale. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen Kale for a while. And then I was like, oh, you know what that reminds me of is one time when I was young and one of the first times like I was out and I was like doing something naughty. I was smoking weed, right? And Kale was coming that night, but my stepmom's name is Kate. And I got a text from Kale saying, tell the boys I'm on the way. But I thought it was Kate that texted me, tell the boys I'm on the way. And I remember freaking the fuck out. And so I'm just driving to the gym, like thinking about all this, right? And I remember freaking the fuck out. But then I double checked my phone and I was about to go tell the boys like my mum's on the way.
Yeah.
And then I go out and I was like, check my phone again. I was like, oh, it was Kale. And I remember just being like the most relief I've ever felt in my life that I didn't get caught. But then
were you high when you received those texts?
Yeah. And then that same night, another friend's mum that was close with my stepmom.
Yeah.
She actually came and he wasn't answering his phone. She was dropping off some clothes. So she came to the door and she saw everyone in there, obviously put two and two together. He goes out and he's like, Mum, don't come to the door. And then she's like, why are your eyes red? He's like, we went for a walk and it was windy.
Good cover up.
And so then he thinks he covered it up again, all relieved again. We're all relieved. Like she saw me there. She knew I was there. She knew it was happening. And then like, I think the next, like 2 days later, like the Monday at school, he goes, oh yeah, my mum, she knows what we were doing.
She snitched.
And she told me that she told your mum. I was like, shit.
Did you say snitches get stitches?
I was like, fuck it up. And so that afternoon I went home and like Kate actually wasn't mad at me.
Yeah.
Usually I know when she's mad, like if she's about to like ring me for something, she'd be waiting for Dad to get home, but she wouldn't talk to me that Arvo because she's mad at me. But she wasn't actually mad at me. And I do remember being like, okay, well, now's my chance to own up.
Yeah.
So I owned up to Kate about it. And then she goes, actually, such and such's mum did actually tell me, but I didn't tell her I knew that. So she thinks I was just owning up to it, right? And then And then that afternoon, my dad gets home, and the first thing he says to me is, "So what's this you about smoking dope?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Fucking hell!" And so I just had to confess. And then he goes, "Okay, well, it looks like we won't be hanging out with that friend anymore." And so then I remembered all from looking at a dog. I remember all this stuff, right? Takes me to this mad, like crazy, like moment in my past when I was young. And so their like resolution to this problem was like, "Well, look, you know, you're not going to be hanging out with that friend anymore. Like, you're not allowed to stay at his house." And so I said, cool. But what that led to was me just saying I was staying at someone else's house and then staying at his house. And so I was like, I wonder if they handled that in the right way, because what else it did was I also then, let's say I was doing something bad. If something bad were to happen, I would have been too scared to call them. And now, I know now that I definitely could have. And maybe they would have been mad, but they would prefer me to be safe. So what I was thinking was, I think that a good conversation to have with our girlfriends, right? Because we're the type to be like, we're with a girl because like we think we could see a future with them. So I think a conversation we should have with our girlfriends is, okay, let's say we have a son or a daughter and they're 15, 16 and we find out they smoked weed. How would you like to handle the situation? Because I know how I would like to handle it. So what I want to know is, do you think this is a good conversation we should have with our girlfriends?
I'm one step ahead of you.
Oh.
No, I didn't do it with weed, but we did it. I was talking about deep conversations we had. We're talking about like raising kids and stuff, and it came up to our upbringings, how our parents brought us up. And we said, how would we act if our children told us they just got drunk? Which is the same concept. Weed's maybe a little bit different. But
same concept.
And it was how we would react. And like, I know a lot of parents taking it to alcohol, like don't want their kids to touch alcohol till they're 18. And what ends up happening is they go sneak out from 15 to 18.
Exactly.
And I said to my girlfriend that I'm happy for them to drink at 16. I'll buy it for them. I'll buy them a fucking 6-pack or something. And I want to make sure that they know they can ring me no matter what. Which I sort of had a similar thing. I probably could have rang my parents. They probably wouldn't have picked up.
No. Because my parents would have been asleep.
Because I also didn't tell them where I was going and they didn't know what I was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely a good conversation to have, and like I think it also is really good understanding where your partner and what she dealt with, like growing
100%. Up. So yeah, where it went for me was like, I was the same. Like I would just, all my friends would be going out, and we would be a little underage. Like we're not promoting that by any means. I think it's bad, but you'd want to go, so you would lie to your parents. And there's every chance in the world that they probably knew I was lying. Like thinking about it now, maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
To like judge parenting too, because like we say all these things, I'm going to be the healthy parent, and then like your kid's just going to lie to you anyway, and you can't do anything about it.
And like by no means were my parents strict.
No,
and I think they're the best parents ever. But it just made me think, and I was like, so what it got me thinking was the way I would like to deal with it. And I am actually, because I thought of it earlier, I haven't spoken to Beth since I thought of this, but I am actually I really am keen to talk to her about it. The way I would like to deal with it is if I found out my kid got high or drunk, I would just like to sit them down and be like, first of all, if they were keeping it from me, I would just be like, look, I know. And the route I want to go is like, maybe explain to them that the reason why I don't drink and smoke, and then just say to them like, look, obviously we don't want you to be doing this. Like we want you to be healthy, and we want you to have a childhood where you don't drink or smoke. But we understand that if it's something you really want to do, humans are pretty fucking clever and persistent, and you're going to find a way whether we like it or not. So all I want you to know is I don't want you to do it, but if you're going to do it and something goes wrong, please call me. That's all. I think that's how I want to handle it. I don't know if I can bring myself to buy my kid alcohol underage. But I don't judge your decision of doing that, because heaps of parents did it. I know heaps of parents did it.
I would argue that you saying that you don't want your kid to do it will make your kid want to do it more. And for you to figure out that you didn't like drinking, you had to do it.
Yeah.
That's why you figured it out. Like, it's all good and well to tell someone that, like, it's bad, like, we've got past addiction, like, this is what alcohol does for you. It's like, yeah, fucking sick, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to have fun with my friends. That's what I'd be like, I'm just going to fucking drink then. Like, it's sort of...
Good point.
There's so many different ways and avenues to do it. And I'm more on the approach of, like, he's my son, I've brought him up, or my daughter. I've brought them up in a way that I think is healthy enough for them to figure out their own path. I want them to try it in a healthy manner, rather than like, I don't know, drink some shitty alcohol that they found on the side of the road and got some fucking older boy to buy it from him or some shit.
True.
Like it's from a reliable source, and then they figure out from themselves that they don't like it, and then it's their own journey. Like there's only so much you can do as a parent, and it's like guiding them rather than telling them what you think they should do.
Yeah, fuck.
But I could see why you would do yours too.
I reckon maybe this could be a good. Okay, ready? So your kid goes out, gets drunk, and then you find out. You have that conversation with them, and you go, "Okay, look, I know you're going to do it. Let me show you how to do it right."
I thought before you were talking about weed, I thought you were going to be like, "All right, I'll show you how to roll a fucking
yeah,
I'll show you how to do it.
Let me show you how to do it right, and just because like this is terrible to promote. Like I'm by no means I'm telling anyone to do this, but like you ever have one of the? We've had the hangovers before, where you have the hangover and you're just like, whew,
I don't want to leave.
like I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
It's like you got to give them one of them. Yeah.
Honestly, but at 18, like it's hard to get one of them.
It actually is. You bounce back.
Yeah, like
so quick.
You can drink anything. Like it's when you start hitting 2021, you're like, "Fuck, man, I'm getting old."
Oh shit! I went to when I was away with family a couple weeks ago. My uncle and his kid, they were drinking together. Like his kid's 18 and he's older, like obviously in his 40s or something. And they were drinking the same amount.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is my uncle got wasted.
And the kid didn't.
And he could barely walk. He had to be like carried to the car, like helped into the car. He was wasted, didn't really remember anything. But his son, he just like was holding a conversation with people. We had drank the same amount apparently. He had drank the same amount, holding conversation. He felt a little bit dusty the next day. But it was just, I was just like, how the fuck are you holding, like the experience your dad would have on you. But he clearly is just his age is getting to him. Yeah.
And it's funny like the different relationships that, I don't know, different families have with alcohol too. Like you see it on like Christmas and everything. Like, oh, you want a beer? Like we're socializing. Yeah. Like, nah, I'm on a Coke. And it's always that awkward. Like now that I've turned like, now that you're older and like you, like it's assumed that you drink beer. Mm-hmm. It's just like whenever you go to a social setting with like older people, like you want a beer? And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Coke will do me, just Coke Zero if preferred, please.
Yeah. That's so funny. Sometimes I'll be like, gotta get rowdy tonight. Full sugar Coke, boys. Full sugar Coke for me.
It's funny thinking about, I actually enjoy thinking about like how I'd be as a parent. I was even picturing like you sitting down with a little kid and I was thinking, like, Jacob, be a dad.
This is why I brought it up because, okay, my whole start of this was like, I'm not a deep thinker. Yeah. But clearly I am a little bit because I went through this whole, okay, what else I was doing while driving to the gym was I went through this whole like rigmarole in my brain of what I would be saying to my kid. And then also I was like, I don't know why I was thinking of this. I was saying it in my head to my kid. Don't know what my kid looks like. But then I was also like, okay, so that's one way I could do it. What about if I was saying this? What if I was trying to teach my kid a lesson, but him and his mum were divorced? And then I'm like, what would I be saying to his stepmom? Like, looks like I've got to call his mum.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, and then it got me thinking of like, what's the dynamic like when, let's say, I'm single and I meet a girl and she's got a kid, okay? I become the kid's stepdad. Like what's the what's the dynamic like when she kind of has to be in touch with this guy? And it's like you're fully going to understand that, but like does she need to is it disrespectful if she just contacts this guy like if she's texting him willy-nilly?
You're going on a tangent.
This is what I'm talking about. I think I'm a deep thinker.
If you can be whatever you want to be, man.
I think I'm a deep thinker.
You can be whatever you want to be, honestly.
And I do this often. Like I spiral often.
Keep it going. Try and spiral in like a good direction. Like at the start of that story, I was like, where the fuck is Jake going with this? I was like,
I'll spiral how I want to spiral, all right? And I will spiral in whatever way I feel like spiraling, whatever way my brain takes me.
Mate, that conversation could have went to like, so like how good was weed when we were 16? like that's where the spiral could have gone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So everyone out there that is like,
so how do you want
to?
How do you want us to label you now? So I'm a deep thinker, and you.
That's what I was going to say. Everyone out there that listens to Relatable podcast,
are you also a deep thinker? I think we got to label it something differently.
This is what you say to everyone. Okay, I listen to this podcast, and I bet you used to say Oddie, real deep thinker. Jake, pretty willy nilly. What I want you to say now is Oddie, real deep thinker. Jake, even deeper.
Mate, people can take that if they want. We have to change your name to Mummy, mate.
We could be Mummy and Mummy.
Yeah. Alrighty, Jake. The biggest theme on this podcast is relationships.
Hands down. And deep thinking.
Yeah. Now it is. After this episode, mate, we're just going to be going deeper and deeper and deeper. Everyone's like, bring back the deep chats.
Yeah.
Everything Jake thinks about is deep.
Guys, I'll start labeling everything deep chats.
Yeah, Jake's,
Let me spiral.
And what is the key fundamental that makes a relationship work? Bang.
Trust.
Yes.
Woo!
Didn't tell you beforehand what we were talking about. No, you're such a deep thinker, man. That was good.
All I think about is trust and love and
once trust is gone, it's sort of like, is the relationship worth fighting for? And I wanted to do some research on how can you regain trust and rebuild trust. And actually the literature, Jake, was it was not quite what I was looking for, because it's kind of just a choice. Like there was no science behind how to trust someone again. It was more like
if you've lost trust.
Yeah. So what I did find though, which was very interesting and sort of, you can make a more informed decision if you understand how trust is formed. Mm-hmm. And then you can make the informed decision of if you want to rebuild trust with said person.
Yep.
So this is the key fundamentals of what makes up trust in a relationship. It is in reference to Frances Freer, I think her name is. She had a little TED Talk. It was in reference to business, so I put it into personal relationships. So,
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. She was talking like business, and I was like, nah, fuck business. I want to talk about love.
Our business is love.
Yeah. So the foundation of all relationships. If we trust one another, the world would be such a better place. But what if trust is broken? Can there be redemption? Should you give someone a second chance? How do you build trust in the first place? All right. To build trust, we must understand its components first, which there are 3. Number 1, authenticity. Mm-hmm. Authenticity, you know what that is?
Yep.
Being true to yourself. Number 2, belief in what you're saying.
Okay.
So it's like when I'm telling you something, I actually believe it myself.
You're not saying it as a question.
And it's also like, it's basically saying I'm not lying when I'm saying something.
Okay,
It's like coming from like, oh, this is actually what happened.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes. And the third one is empathy.
Okay.
Which is the biggest one. When all these 3 things are working, we have great trust. But as soon as one of these components start to wobble, the trust starts to feel shaky.
Yep.
And that's when a relationship starts to feel shaky. And if your trust starts to wobble, you need to understand where and why trust start to feel wobbly and have a ready-made prescription to overcome it.
Cool. Can I? Oh, you're going to go on and
No,
elaborate?
yeah.
I was going to say, so basically, like, if you're like, fuck, why don't I trust my partner? It's looking for the reason.
Yes.
So the reason could be something they've done, or the reason could be that you have trust issues from the past.
Yes. And it's understanding where it's coming from and whether or not you as a team can overlook that thing.
Yeah.
And they're the 3 pillars where you look for it first and then understand, oh, that's why I feel like it's getting a bit shaky and I don't trust them. Yeah. So the 3 pillars. The most common wobble is empathy. People believe that their partner is too distracted and in it for individual gain. They're not in it for the greater good of the relationship. So here's the prescription. Identify where, when, and who is distracting your partner's empathy. That should trace pretty perfectly to the cause of why your partner has lack of empathy and trust has started to wobble. And from here, you can see the situation for what it is and ask yourself if you think your partner can overcome these distractions. So that makes sense?
Yeah.
I found that like really insightful. It's just like, it's understanding why they don't have empathy, and that's why the trust is feeling like, wait, he's getting distracted by this.
Something.
Yeah. And honestly,
by that bitch.
She emphasized that the first step to regaining empathy in a relationship is putting down the phone.
Ooh.
Respecting each other's boundaries when it comes to all the apps. It is so difficult to build from the start or even rebuild empathy in the presence of a phone.
Whoa, because it's a distraction.
It's a distraction. It distracts your mind from this beautiful person in front of you, and there's all these different determinants that are like, oh, do I love her, or do I like this fucking chick on Instagram who's half naked, or like...
Mate, talking about phones is, Beth was in her bathroom the other day and I was watching the video of Lego on TikTok, and I was in this video of TikTok Lego, bro. And
I bet you were.
And she was saying stuff to me and I was like, oh yeah. Like I'd pause it, oh yeah, put it back on. And she'd be like, are you even listening? I'm like, no, I'm watching Lego.
Yeah.
And so I had to throw my phone away so I could listen, and I was like, sorry, I'm being rude. Poof.
That's the perfect example. When like in my head, I was thinking like, if someone does something really bad, how can you regain trust? And that's not really, there's no real answer to that.
No.
It's more like those little things of like trusting each other and how to build the best foundations to build a strong bond. And that's if someone's doing something like that consistently, and then just Beth started to trust you less because you were never listening to her, and you're thinking about.
She would just stop talking to me.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
doesn't trust that I'm listening.
Yes. But that's an example of where you can rebuild it. You can't rebuild it with all these terrible things like cheating, but these little minute things that add up and make a relationship unstable and untrusting is what you can rebuild from.
Yes.
So the second most important component of trust is belief in what you're saying. Basically, if you're lying or not.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about communication. When emotions are involved, most people really can't spit out what they're trying to say. They just get jumbled up and confuse all the thoughts and feelings in their mind, and the trust starts to wobble more and more, and you can't really get out what you're saying or what happened in your eyes. So the solution is really simple. And I never thought of this, but it makes so much sense. And when I'm trying to talk to my partner about something that, like a tricky conversation, I kind of beat around the bush.
Same.
Not the right thing to do.
Fuck.
So when you spit out your point of view, spit it out in a crisp half sentence with like a topics sentence. Like at the start, that's what you're trying to get across straight away.
Yeah.
And then give your supporting evidence. So you can spit this out to your partner so they can digest it really good. The information is in a good format to digest. And also, it's important in a relationship to let the person finish. But normally when you're having a heated argument, the person then goes, no, this is how it is. So if you spit out your point of view in the first line, no matter what, you've got...
Your point of view is across.
Yeah, you've got it across no matter what, and you can both digest the information healthily.
Yes.
Which is really insightful, because I often just would beat around the bush, try and I don't know.
Well, you worry about their feelings. Like you don't want to say it in a way where you're hurting their feelings, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You just want them to know that they've potentially hurt your feelings.
And it's happened to me before. Like we've had a conversation. I was like, I didn't really say what I thought I was going to say. Like I didn't get across what I actually felt, because we started to have a conversation. I should really start with...
Yeah, and it's not her fault that you didn't have the conversation.
No, that's just what happens.
It's like, fuck, I didn't say it at the start.
Yeah. That's just what happens in a relationship.
I really, really need to work on that.
Yeah. And the third component is authenticity. Humans can sniff out the moment when someone isn't being their authentic self. So in many ways, the prescription is clear. Be you. You don't want to have an unauthentic wobble, do you? Be you. If you hold back who you are, you're less likely to be trusted, which I thought was a great sentence.
Fuck yeah.
If you're being it's also like when I thought about that, a lot of people think I'm too much. I won't be who I actually am. And then there's no trust there because they're hiding
who they really are.
They think they're going to be too much. So it's really like playing on the fact of be exactly who you think you are.
Not who you want your partner to want you to be.
Yeah. So to build trust, regain trust, and trust one another, it all comes back to being your authentic self. Wear what you want to wear, pay less attention to what you think people want to hear, and far more attention to what your authentic, awesome self needs to say. And in your relationship, build an environment that is safe to be the person you're meant to be.
Fucking hell. I like that.
It was really insightful. Like when I was researching it, that's not the information I was trying to find.
No, you probably had like this preconceived idea of what would be like spat out to you.
Yeah, and it's basically the fundamentals of where trust come from and how to work on them in a healthy manner. And it all comes back to just being yourself, believe in what you're saying, and try and say it in a clear, concise way.
Yeah, the thing I've taken away the most from that is definitely if like there is a chat to be had, you need to know at least. Like you can't, like you need to go into it knowing the first sentence instead of trying to spit like jibber jabber until the sentence comes to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you really need to you really do need to put thought into it.
And for me, my biggest takeaway was like empathy. When my girlfriend's talking and stuff, get off your phone, Noddy. Like I don't need to fucking reply to Jake about business right now.
No, exactly.
Yeah, which I do all the time. And
I can wait.
Yeah. Honestly, all the time I'm like, oh no, I just got to do this 1 sec. And I should be like, no, I didn't need to do this. I didn't even need to tell Jake to fucking wait 5 minutes. I'll do that after.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
I am so bad. Like for some reason, I'll be like if we have a WhatsApp chat with our manager ping, or if you message me, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll just be like it's zero reason as to why.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I need to figure that out now. or I need to reply to that now.
I know.
But really, if you think about this, like if either one of us was to message the other about something important per se, and we messaged and it took maybe 5 minutes to reply, if I was desperate for an answer, I'd call you.
Yeah, I know.
I'd call you until you answered if I was desperate.
I know, exactly.
But nothing's ever that desperate.
No.
Ever.
We just build it up in our heads that it is for no reason. So that's a takeaway for me, because I definitely build up this false thing in my head that like I've got to do this right now, and I'm not going to like realize that this is affecting my relationship in a way.
Yeah, no, that's good. One thing Beth is good at actually is like, if she is doing something where she knows it needs her attention and I'm talking, she'll be like, I'm so sorry. This is like something I have to sort right now.
That's good.
She's like, I'm listening.
Well, that's
about
the other
she'll be like,
approach.
yeah,
I'm
sorry. This is like something that's like red alert. And I'll just be like, oh shit, like I'll wait.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's like, just let the person know that, like, by no means do I feel like less important than what she's doing. But at that moment I kind of am, because what I'm talking about is just dumb.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like, oh, how good was that sex we had last night? And she's got someone at work being like, I'm going to quit. It's like, I don't know, like shit like that. Like what I'm talking about is stupid.
Yeah. And honestly, I've started to like implement a little bit more. Like I'm sure every person listening in a relationship or been in a relationship, as soon as there's a bit of downtime, they just go on their phone and like, instead of like sitting on the bed or sitting on the couch waiting for their partner to, I don't know, do something like that, like Beth's doing, they go on their phone and detach from like the conversation and the environment they're in. Whereas like I've been trying to especially when I'm with my partner, put the phone down and just like wait patiently and think about like us, which I think is really healthy.
Yeah, I wonder what we could do to try and put our phones down.
And so I've been trying to charge in a different room.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at my partner's.
Yeah.
But like that's one of my
like,
tips.
Really? Like,
these things fucking ruin the world, mate.
They do. Like even if you think about like, if like this isn't a bad time to go on my phone, but yeah, like if Beth is like doing her makeup, I'll just go on my phone to pass the time. Yeah. But I mean, but thinking about it, like I could just lay on her bed and fucking, I don't know, have a chat with her about what her week has coming up. Just simple shit. Like, because you never run out of stuff to talk about.
No, and I think that's working on empathy and being there with her.
Yeah.
Which is healthy.
So yeah, why? Like we have it's like a smoker or someone that vapes. A lot of the time, it's like they're addicted to the nicotine, but the other thing they're addicted to is the action. You know, out of your pocket, vape or cigarette. Like they're addicted to that action.
I really want to get less addicted to my phone.
So we're addicted to, as soon as our brain knows that we have a minute of nothing, give me some fucking thing, give me something to do.
Give me some dopamine, man.
Like I would, you know, I'm really, really, like this morning I ate breakfast and I was about to go out on the balcony. And then I was like, nah, I'm going to sit on the table and just scroll on my phone. Yeah. And then I made the active decision to do it. And I was like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this, but I did it anyway. You know, it's like I catch myself, but I still am just so addicted that I'm like,
it's like a drug. It's the same concept. It's the same. You got to taper off and like, it's so much easier said than done. But I think
maybe we'll update everyone.
Yeah. I'm going to try that out. I'm going to write it down so I remember.
Yeah, maybe what we should do is
write on my phone
while you. We should make our phone wall screen. Put your phone down.
Yeah.
Why are you picking this up right now? Put it down if it's pointless.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's a great idea.
This is why we talk, Oddy.
You're a deep thinker, mate.
I am a very deep thinker.
Mate.
I would like. Here's one more thing that you could do if you feel disconnected with your partner while you're at their house, and it's because you're on your phone. Just FaceTime. Because then you're on your phone.
Yeah.
But I mean, like while you're in bed together, just FaceTime.
Yeah, instead of texting.
Yeah. No, I mean like sorry. I was trying to joke. Didn't land. Don't worry about it. We'll end it. We'll just end the episode.
Sorry, you're not the funny one anymore, mate. You're the fucking deep thinker.
I'm the deep guy.
I didn't think you were going to be putting jokes out there.
Sorry, guys. Okay, thank you very much for listening. We are up to page 11 in 109 Things to Say to Shatter the Male Ego. All right. Quote, say to a man, in the next Batman movie, the Joker should be a woman.
Okay.
When he presses you on this, say, well, women are more prosecuted in society, so I think she'd have actual things to be upset about. As he stares at you stunned in silence, finish him off by saying, and maybe Tom Holland can play Batman. Caution. Saying this to the wrong man will turn him into the Joker in real life.
That's so random and wild.
It's so
Do
random.
we have is it Batwoman? No.
Do you mean the female...
Catwoman. Isn't it a Catwoman? Isn't there a Catwoman?
There's a Catwoman and there's a Batwoman.
Yeah.
And like the female version of the Joker is Harley Quinn. But I think it's funny to be like, the Joker should be a female.
Yeah, no. So I really want to jump on this bandwagon of thinking you're a deep thinker.
Yeah.
But then like the other side of the world is you were on TikTok scrolling and you saw a book that said 101 ways to piss men off and you fucking bought it.
We bought it.
We bought it.
We bought it.
Sick. How much was it, by the way?
Like 25
Oh,
bucks.
shit.
Came from like Finland because no one had it. I had to buy from like a Finnish bookstore.
Such a deep thinker you are, eh? Oh, we love ya. You know what to do. Patreon, extra episode every week.
5 stars.
Yeah, oh yeah, we got to say that. We keep forgetting. 5 stars. If you enjoyed the episode, 5-star it. And the last thing, Facebook group is going great.
Yes.
So go join. Everything's links in the description of this and link in bio on Instagram. We love you.
Bye.